Okay, so in this lesson we're going to talk about external references, or XRefs for short. XRefs just is a short version of external references. You will hear people talk about XRefs a lot. You may have heard it already. You may have heard someone who does CAD say they need an XRef or an XRef is missing. You may have seen error messages pop up talking about XRefs and not knowing what it was talking about. Some people get confused about it. Some people build it up into something complicated. It's a really simple concept. Okay, the main reasoning behind XRefs is on a large project there's certain items that shouldn't change, and there's certain items you don't need to draw every single time. So I want to show you this sketch we created in the previous lesson when we spoke about the UCS. Okay, if we were designing this building, we'd have maybe a lot more around here. So we'd have a building next door. Let me just draw that in maybe. So again, just roughly F8 to turn off. You might have a building next door, kind of there. Let's have another one there, and maybe we had a big long building kind of behind our building here. Okay, so we're only interested in this part. We don't need to change any of this. This is how it looks. This is how it came. We're not doing anything here. It's going to be the same, but it does need to be on lots of drawings. We do want any external plan, the landscaping, the car park design, we might have a location plan on every drawing. We want to show this stuff, even though it will never change. Okay. So if let's just create a new drawing. And I'm going to grab all this stuff. I'm going to make sure we're on world coordinate system. I'm going to cut it. And in the new drawing I'm going to paste to the original coordinates, making sure we're both on the same coordinate system. Now if we zoom extents, double click our wheel. Okay, here is our plan. And I'm going to save this now, and I'm going to save it as site Xref. Okay, so this drawing now is our site background. It's never going to change, it's just something we want to show all the time. We can close that, save, yep, okay. So when we start a new drawing, we've just come along, we want to design our building. First thing we do is we bring in our site layout, and we do that by bringing it in as an external reference. So let me show you. We go to Insert, and under Reference here we go Attach. I want to attach the drawing of our site. Okay. We get a normal CAD dialog box. Scale, we want the same scale. You will rarely change this, usually just set it all to 1. Insertion point, you could specify on screen. In this case, because it's to the same coordinates, we just want to have our base point at 0, 0, 0, because that's the base point it will be in the drawing. No rotation, and it's at millimeters. Okay, so we don't need to change anything really other than take that off. Okay. Now if we zoom extents, you can see our drawing. But we haven't pasted this in, we haven't inserted it in. All we've done is attach it. So I want you to think of this. Imagine if you were drawing onto tracing paper and you laid that tracing paper over the top of a paper map with the buildings on, and then you drew your design on the tracing paper in the correct place. Okay, the map is sitting behind the tracing paper. It's not on the tracing paper. The only thing on your tracing paper would be the building, and you could take it on and off the map. Okay, and that is what's happening here. This drawing, if you try to select it, it selects the whole thing. This is being viewed beneath your drawing. And all CAD is doing, let me press escape, when you attach an XRef, you're telling CAD, when you open this drawing, I want you to open the other drawing in the background so I can see it. Okay? So if we, on our building drawing now, if we were to save this, so on our building drawing now, you can delete this. We'll do that again on here. We will go to Insert, Attach, make sure it's Drawing, and Site Xref. Okay, leave all these off. Okay, that, and it brings it in the correct place. The only actual drawing items in this model is a building, but when it opens this, it brings that in the background. Okay, now the main benefit of doing this, well, there's a few benefits actually. You only have one file of this background. Okay, imagine we had 10 departments in our design office: architectural, electrical, mechanical, and so on, and they all had a design of this building. We were all working on the same design, and we all had this layout. If this changed, if someone came along and says, well, actually we're going to change this car park, we're going to move this line out, you would have to go into every drawing and then change it. With an Xref, you don't need to do that. We can open our site layout and we could say, okay, from now on this car park is actually, and I'll use grips, shift, this car park is now only going to be half the size. It's just going to be like that. In our site Xref drawing, I save it. Okay, everyone who's using this as an Xref will get, if I've got it open, they'll get this little message, reload. Click it to reload and it changes. So it will change automatically. Okay, and the next time anyone opens this drawing, it will just incorporate all the changes done. So that change only needs to be done on that one drawing. And because we're viewing that drawing in the background, it will update automatically. Now in reality, you would probably have this site plan as an Xref. The design of the external walls and windows would be another Xref. The internal wall layout would be saved as an Xref. So when the electrical designer came in, he would bring in the site layout Xref, the external wall Xref, the internal wall Xref, and he would just, on his drawing, the only thing he would add on his drawing would be the lights and the other electrical items. Okay. If the architect then changed that internal wall, maybe moved it down here, on his drawing it would automatically change on all the other drawings because it was an Xref. Yep, so I hope that makes sense. But that is the main benefit of Xrefs. You only need to change the one drawing and everyone else's drawing changes. Otherwise, on a large project you have lots and lots of different versions. The fashion these days on larger projects is to only draw that a particular item in that particular file. So the electrical engineer will only draw his electrical items, and that will be his electrical model. The architect will only draw his architectural items in his model, and so on and so on, and all those models will be saved and can be brought in on other people's models and drawings. So what you have on the large projects is a drawing is just a collection of models. A drawing being the title block and the text will just be a collection of lots of Xrefs brought in. Lots of Xref models brought in. And then you can create whichever drawing you want by using those Xrefs, using layer styles, turning things on and off in viewports or in the model, and adding text on the paper. Okay, but you would do that by using a combination of Xref models. And again, you will, if you go into a company or you're in a company where they work that way, the best way is to do it and see it working for itself, and it will become clear. It's quite a good way to work. It does cut down on sizes. A lot of it's driven in this day and age by the email. We tend to email drawings around rather than printing them out and sending them, so you just need to email a particular model, and generally people will have the site layout, so everyone working on the plan on the project will have the site layout and the architect's layout, and only get sent the things they need that may have changed, and it's just a case of bringing in a new Xref, replacing the old Xref. Yeah, and that is an overview of Xrefs. Really, it is one of those things you just get to know best by using it, but hopefully I've taught you enough so that you know what someone's talking about if they tell you an Xref is missing from a drawing. That is a problem sometimes. If you were to send this drawing out as it was, so you just saved it, you went to File, Save, and you sent it, and you didn't check the Xrefs. Okay, so you can go to Manage Xrefs here. Let me just delete, close that properties box. So this is a list of the Xrefs in your drawing. So we have our drawing of the building, and underneath it we have Site Xref. Okay, which is this, all this. And that can be found, let me expand that. That Xref can be found in there. And again, on large projects this could be a very, very long string of files and folders. So if you were to save this drawing and send this one file, building 01, it wouldn't include the Xref. And if I unload that, that's how it would end up looking. So you do need to make sure, if you want to send someone a full CAD file, you need to send him the Xrefs as well. Okay, and we'll look at ways you can combine that in an advanced course, but for now just make sure you send all the files that are needed. But then if you change the building layout, the next time you would only need to send this because he already has the Xrefs. Okay, so that's the benefit of that, and that is an overview of Xrefs.